What's going on, guys? John Cochran here, and today is System Saturday, the day that I bring you a system that I use in my business that you can rip off, duplicate, and use right into your own local market. Now, I've got a really powerful System Saturday live headed your way, and today what we're really going to talk about is we're going to talk about direct mail, and we're going to talk about how to get more sellers to contact us. Like, what do we say to get sellers to contact us, so that we can start working this lead? And I'm going to give all of the entire system. Actually, as a matter of fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you inside of one of our courses, the Combo Seller Generator, and I'm going to show you right inside the course what we give, members that pay $1,500. What do we teach them? What do we tell them to say to motivated sellers in direct mail in order to get them to call us as a real estate investor? So the first thing that I want to go through is I just kind of want to get a good feel for this. How many of you guys, and just say me into the chat box, but how many of you guys have sent a direct mail piece out? How many of you guys have sent a direct mail piece out? And I don't care if it's a postcard. I don't care if it's a letter. I don't care what it is. I don't even care who it was to. How many of you guys have sent a piece of mail out trying to find a motivated seller to get that seller to contact you? How many of you guys have done that? And again, if you have, just scroll down and comment in and just say me, okay? Now, the other thing that I want to do is, now that, I know who has done this, like Monica, what's going on? Looks like a lot of people, Daryl. So a lot of people have sent a piece of direct mail out sometime to get a lead to come into your system. Now, what I want to ask you is I want you to comment in below, because what we're trying to do is we're trying to take and get you more leads. I want to change your message. I want to change your approach up to where you are getting more leads, more sellers contacting you so that you can eventually do more deals, okay? So how many leads would you estimate? I don't expect you to know this exact number, but unless you're really tracking this, but how many leads would you say that you've got that have called you or they have filled a form out on your site, okay? How many leads have called you that you have reached out to a motivated seller and you tried to get them to sell you their house? Just give me a ballpark figure, a ballpark number. I just kind of want to get an idea for how many leads, how many people that you've talked to as a motivate or as a real estate investor, okay? So how many? Comment in, let me know how many, just guess of what it is, because I'm going to need that in order to really help you change your message up to get more leads. And the third thing that I want to ask you that I need you to comment in, because I look at all this stuff after the fact, and a lot of times I will reach out to you guys individually and be able to help you. So Jeff says at least 1,000. These things come in pretty quick, and you can barely even see them. What was your mail to call ratio? Meaning, how many pieces of direct mail did you send out versus how many calls that you got? Like, what is that percentage that you brought in? I have some of the highest performing direct mail pieces that it really is around, because of what we say into these messages. We're sending them to the right people, but then what we're saying into these messages, and I'm going to really help you out with this today, but what is your average? Because I'll tell you, the average direct mail piece gets a 1 to 3% response, okay? That means that if you send out 100 pieces of mail, whether it is a handwritten letter or whether it is a postcard, if you send out 100 of those, you should get 1 to 3 calls, okay? 1 to 3 calls. So that is the normal, okay? So what is your response rate? About 2%-ish, 1 to 3%. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to take a 1% response rate, a 1 to 3% response rate, and that Jeff is getting and Paul is getting and so forth. And I want to show you guys how to boost that up to get a 30% response rate. I mean, a 30% response rate on your direct mail. So, I mean, if you reach out to 100 people, how can you get 30 of them to call you? How can you get 30 of those people to reach out to you and call you and want to sell you their property, okay? And that's what I'm going to show you guys how to do right now. So if you have not already, comment in and let me know how many pieces of direct mail that you have sent, how many leads that you would guesstimate that you have got from direct mail, because I'm going to try to help you boost that right now onto this System Saturday Live. And then what is your normal call or mail to call ratio? Okay. And if you don't know any of those figures, if you don't know any of those stats, well, it looks like I just found a hole into your business. I mean, because you need to know that. You need to know when you're sending direct mail out, how many leads that you're getting in. If you need to know exactly how many, when you're sending out mail, how many people are calling you, and what is your percentage of, I sent out 1,000 postcards and 28% called me. 280 called me. You need to know all of that on every single direct mail campaign that you're doing, okay? You need to know those figures. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take you onto that World Wide Web thing that we're already on, and I'm going to take you inside of our Combo Seller Generator course and one of the mind maps inside of the course, and I'm going to show you and I'm going to teach you what you should be saying. What can you say in your direct mail to really boost it to, instead of getting a 1% or a 3% response rate, how can you get a 30% response rate, okay? That's what I'm going to teach you how to do. So I'm going to scroll down into this mind map. This mind map is pretty long, but I'm going to scroll down in this, and here's really the key to this stuff, okay? Here's the key to this. So what do you say into your direct mail? What do you say in this, to get a seller to call you? What do you say? And you need to go back and you need to look at what were you saying in all of your direct mail pieces, when you were doing that direct mail and possibly getting a 1 to 3% response rate. What were you saying in that? But here's what I'm going to tell you. When you change what you say up very subtle and you just change it, put a little bit of a twist on it, you're going to boost this thing up. So here's the key to it. You want to be very, very conversational in what they're reading. What the seller is reading, you want to be very conversational. You do not want to go out there and be anything corporate. It does not want to smell like corporate. And it needs to sound like you are being, just writing a letter to a friend. Like if you were to send a letter to me, trying to get me to buy your house, what would you be saying in that specific letter? I'd want you, in order to get me to respond to you, I would want it to be very conversational. I want it to be very tailored straight to me, like it's not a big mass mailing. I would want it to be all of that stuff. And you have to think about, what a seller would want. So you got to be very conversational. You cannot be corporate at all, okay? And I'm going to talk about that a lot in what I'm going to be sharing with you right now. And you do not say that you're a real estate investor. Those are two of the biggest things that investors, do so wrong. They do so wrong is they're corporate, they sound corporate, and they say that they're a real estate investor right there into that letter. I mean, investors think that it's like they're right that when they have to go out there and tell these sellers that they're a real estate investor. They just feel like they have to do that, and you don't. You do not have to do that at all. But don't go corporate. Do not say that you're a real estate investor, and just be very conversational with how they are reading it, okay? Be a person with how they're doing this. So I'm going to take you, and I want to show you guys 3 examples, okay? I want to show you guys 3 examples of letters that I've seen into the past that other investors have sent me, and this is what not to do, okay? This is exactly what not to do as a real estate investor. So here's the first one, okay? Here is the very, very first one, and let me move some of this stuff onto my screen. But here's the very first one, okay? And let me try to blow this up for you guys, and it looks like that did not work. Here we go. We're cooking with gas now. I know what I'm doing. Okay, cool. So here's what not to do as a real estate investor in your direct mail, okay? Attention homeowner, my name is Dennis and I am a local investor looking to buy a couple of houses into the Kettering area, and I'm interested and want to buy your house. I will pay you top dollar for your property and I can close quickly in 2 days and I can buy your house as is. Also, you will not pay any realtor commissions when you sell your home to me. If you're interested, please call me today, Dennis, and then the phone number. Now, what is so wrong with that message? What is so wrong with that message? Well, number one, it wasn't very conversational. Okay, so it broke that rule. This is corporate as it gets. This is real estate investor as it gets. Okay, it is so much like that. So when I read this, if I'm a motivated seller, okay, if I'm a motivated seller, literally I'm reading this and I'm like, okay, so my name is Dennis. I'm a local investor. Oh, I get it. They're going to go in there and they're an investor. They're trying to do this for a profit. They're going to go in there and lowball me. See, the thing of it is that every single seller wants to get top dollar for their property. Okay. Now, top dollar does not necessarily mean retail value. Okay. Top dollar does not mean retail value for their house. It does not mean after repair value. That's not what top dollar means. Top dollar means you got a property that it's got fleas inside. I mean, it's a hoarder house. You can give them top dollar for the market conditions, for the home conditions, for what's going on in the market. See, that's what so many investors, they get wrong. Is I tell them in their direct mail that they need to say 4 things in all of their direct mail pieces, 4 to 5 things, okay? And here's what I tell them to do. They need to go out there and tell them that you want to buy their home, that you're willing to pay top dollar, you can close quick, and they don't have to pay a realtor commission. So again, that you will pay them top dollar, that you need to say all of this in your conversational piece. You will pay top dollar for their property. That's number one that they need to hear, okay? Number 2, that you can close quickly. That's the second thing that you need to say. The third thing is that you will buy their property as is. They don't have to do a thing to it. And then the fourth thing, and I call these my 4 power phrases, the fourth thing that a homeowner needs to know, a distressed seller needs to know, is that they're not going to have to pay a realtor commission whenever they sell to you. Those are the 4 things that they need to hear. Where investors go wrong when they do their direct mail pieces is they put those 4 things in there, but they spin it into a way to where it's like, man, I'm an investor, and it's like, I'm going to go in there and lowball you to death, and I'm going to steal your property from you, and that's how they make it smell and feel, by just putting that I'm a local investor. You need to stop all that stuff like immediately. Hi, my name is Dennis, and I drove by your property the other day on my route to take my kid to soccer practice, and I noticed that I'm looking to buy a home into the area, and I just so happen to find your home on this drive to soccer practice, and I'm interested, and I will pay you top dollar for that property. Can you give me a call back at this phone number? See, that is very conversational. That is very, I'm the person right next door. I just drove by from soccer practice or whatever, and, I need to go out there and, buy a property. Might be for myself. It might be in for an investment. It might, whatever it is, I don't know. But you don't have to tell them that you're an investor. You're looking to deploy some capital. You're looking to buy distressed properties. You don't need to tell them all of that stuff. And see, just by what I told you, see this letter right here that you guys see right up onto your screen, it will get you about a 1 to probably a 5% conversion rate. Meaning that if you send out 100 pieces of direct mail, at tops, you're going to get 5 calls. At tops. Meaning that you left 95 leads onto the table. By changing this up to something like, hey, my name is Dennis. I drove by your house on the way to my kid's soccer practice the other day, and I noticed that I'm interested in buying your property. Okay? I'm looking to buy a property into the area, and I noticed that your home might be for sale. Give me a call. It's that simple. I'll pay you top dollar for this. I'll pay you cash, whatever it is. And that is what you should be saying in your direct mail pieces, not this corporate crap, not this stuff that, hey, I'm a real estate investor. I'm buying these properties at discounts, and I'm not going to give you top dollar, even though you said that you are into this message. See, they won't even call you. They won't even call you. So that is a huge tip. Does that make sense? If that makes sense, comment below and let me know, because I just gave you two different scenarios. What every investor does that gets a 1 to 5% response rate, and then what you can do being very conversational and boost that up to 30%. See, what I just told you guys, exactly what I just told you is exactly how you boost that thing up from a 1 to 3%, maybe a 5%, up to a 30% response rate onto your direct mail. Okay? Now, here's another letter. Now, remember the 4 power phrases, right? The 4 power phrases that you're not a realtor and that you'll buy their property as is, top dollar, and that whole thing. Here's another letter that I had one of our apprentices draft up at, earlier on. Here's this letter, and they go through, and I tell them to do their own direct mail piece, and this is what they give me, okay? This is fine. It's fine because I want to tweak it. And see, again, this is what not to do. Arlene buys houses. So you're already telling them right there that you are doing this for a profit. You are a real estate investor, and they don't like real estate investors. They don't like this stuff because they really want you to buy their property for the most amount of money that they're going to ever be able to get for it, okay? So in your direct mail, you should absolutely 100% be going unbranded. Go unbranded completely. You don't have to be this corporate Arlene buys houses or anything like that, okay? You don't have to do anything like that. See, I taught this person how to go out there and do the direct mail and what these sellers want to hear into their direct mail. But see, this is the postcard that she came up with. Arlene buys houses. That's telling me that she's a real estate investor. I want to buy your house. I don't have a problem with that first bullet. I want to buy your house. I don't have a problem with that one. I've got a problem with the other ones. I will pay you top dollar for your property. I have cash and will close quickly. I will buy your house just the way it is now. No realtor commissions. Let me help you unload that house. What does that tell you? From a seller standpoint, do you really think that this person, if I got a letter like this, do you really think that this person is going to buy my house for top dollar? They might close quick because they might have funds to like $18 that they're going to try to go out there and get this property for. But they're not going to be able to perform on any of this stuff, okay? They're not going to give me top dollar for this property, and that is one of the biggest things that they want. So this is totally a no-no. This is totally a no-no, and this right here, I promise you, this out of a 1 to a 3 and a 5% response rate at the top, this right here is going to get a 1% response. 1% response all of the time. That's what this thing is going to do. That is what this thing is going to do. So you cannot go out there, you don't be branded, you don't go corporate, you do not just put bullets on there of what you're going to tell them to do, because this is not conversational. This is not conversational at all, okay? It's not conversational at all. So here's what you need to do, okay? Here's exactly what you need to do. You need to change this up. I told you what not to do, and I gave you 2 examples, Dennis and this other one, of what not to do with this thing. But what do you do? Like, what can you do to boost it from a 3% up to a 30%? How do you add a 0 to your response rate? And just so that we're clear, this is the difference of you sending out 100 pieces of direct mail and either getting 3 people to call you or 30 people to call you. This is the difference right here. It's a very big difference, okay? So we do have a word count on all of our direct mail, on all of our postcards, okay? So what we do, and just so we're very, very crystal clear, just so we're extremely clear, I believe in the 90-10 rule, where 90% of my deals come straight from relationships and 10% of my deals come from marketing. This is marketing. This is the best 10% that you will ever see me do, And just so we're clear, I only mail combo motivated seller leads, people that have multiple levels of motivation They have more than one reason to sell. I only mail those people. I do not send mail to vacant people. I do not send mail to people that are absentee owners. I do not do any of that stuff. I send mail to people that have 2 levels, 3 levels, 4 levels, and 5+ levels of motivation, or 5+ reasons that they need to sell to me. That's the only direct mail you'll ever see me do. The other side of this is that I really believe in handwriting letters. I really believe in that, okay? Because of the personal touch that it gives. So if you're dealing, and the reason that I like this is because if you're dealing with a combo motivated seller, you might only have 50 people that have 3 levels of motivation, okay? But that's only 50 letters that I've got to write. It's not like I got to write 5,000 of these things, okay? So I don't have to go out and write 5,000 of these things to go out and get a lead into my system. I don't have to do that. So if I'm focusing on the right leads, I can have the right message, and I can do more things to the right leads, okay? So my very first touch, my very first approach to get this person to call me is always going to be a postcard, always. And the reason that it's always a postcard is because it is the cheapest form of marketing that you can do. You can do a postcard for 40-some cents. A handwritten letter is going to cost you time. It's also going to cost you money, a lot more money, probably about $1 or more per piece. So what I like to do is even on combo motivated sellers, I like to send a postcard out first. And what I'm doing is I'm scrubbing that list. I'm seeing who in the world on that list is going to respond to me. Who do I have the right addresses for, and who do I not? So that I can scrub that list real quick. And now, once I know that I got the right leads, and now I know if I made the mailbox or not, now I'll spend money on them. Now I will go out there and start doing handwritten money and time. I will spend time writing handwritten letters, and I will do all of that stuff, okay? Just so we're super, super clear. Now, when I'm doing my postcards, I keep this to a word count, and I highly suggest that you do this as well. You know that you got to be conversational, so you know you got to be conversational. And on the front of the postcard, okay, keeping in mind that you have to leave room for the post office to go out there and put their stamp on there, their tracking and all that stuff. On the front of the postcard, I'm doing 80 to 100 words max, and I want you to write that down. And if somebody can comment that below, that would be great, just to keep this easy for us. I'm doing 80 to 100 words max onto the front of the postcard. Now, onto the back of the postcard, I'm doing 150 to 180 words max onto the back of that postcard. You want to stay with that rule, okay? Now, here's what I'm also going to tell you. So on the front of it, and if somebody can comment that below, or all of you guys can comment that below so that, people that are watching this as a replay or whatnot, that you guys can go out there and get this. 80 to 100 words max onto the front, and onto the back, it's 150 to 180 words max. Now, here's what I'm going to tell you. And I fight with designers on this all the time, because when you go and you look at this, okay, pretty does not get conversions, period. There's no other way to say it. I'm sorry, all graphic designers out there, but you guys can make ugly looking postcards. You guys can make ugly looking mail. You can do that stuff, okay? But pretty does not get a response, okay? It just doesn't do it. So you have to understand, and when you're doing direct mail, the uglier the better. The plainer the better. So I would not spend a lot of time, effort, energy, and going out there and putting a bunch of pictures and doing all this stuff onto your direct mail. You don't need to do any of that stuff. What you need to do is you need to get a message out there, and ours are very, very plain. I've ran straight white and black postcards, no images, nothing like that on there. I've also ran ugly fluorescent yellow with black mark or with black ink on there. I don't try to get those handwritten or anything like that. I'm just very, very simple with it. But I'm telling you, the uglier that you can make these things, the better. Okay, so just don't overthink this stuff at all. Do not go to Fiverr, or do not say, well, I've got to get a graphic designer to do all my direct mail and all this other stuff, because it's not going to pull. It's not going to pull, because a designer is going to go out there and give you a design, that is nice, it is pretty, and it's not going to get you that 30% response that we're talking about. It's just not going to do that, okay? So your word count on your postcards is 80 to 100 words. The back of it is 150 to 180 words, complete max on that. And you really want to write like this, guys. You really want to write like this in what you say into your direct mail. Do not be spammy. Do not do what I just showed you how to do, okay? Do not do what I just showed you how to do. But here's how to write this, okay? Here's how to write this. If you were to write an email to me right now, or if you were to comment in right now into the chat box because you had a house that you wanted to sell, okay? Maybe it's your personal residence, or you wanted to buy, I'm sorry. Maybe it's your personal residence. And you wanted to buy a new personal residence and you found that mother of all homes. What do you say to me? And I'm the owner. I'm the owner. What are you going to put right into my mailbox? If you are looking for your dream home and money is not an option, and you can't get in front of me at all because you can't find me on the internet or anything else, but you found this one piece of property that you want to buy for your personal residence, what are you going to put into the mailbox? And that's how you need to take this approach when you're investing in properties and when you're trying to get in front of motivated sellers. You need to take that same exact approach. What would you put into that mailbox if you were looking for your own personal residence? Because I can promise you that if I'm looking to buy my own personal residence, what I'm putting into that mailbox is not going to be, hey, I'll buy your property. I'm a real estate investor. I'm buying your property all for top dollar and all cash. I'll close it in 2 days. I'm not saying bullets. I'm being very conversational with you, okay? See, this is why I focus on the right leads and then just put the right message, because my stuff is very, very thought out. But I also get a 30% response rate on this stuff too. So again, that's the key to this, is that you're looking to buy a personal residence. I want you to write this down, okay? You're looking to buy a personal residence. You cannot find anything online anywhere. Money is not an issue. You drive by, you see the perfect property, the perfect one. I mean, you're going to spend your forever there. You got to have this house. What do you write on this? What do you write on that? And put right into their mailbox to get that person to call you. And think about it like that. Because if you want to go from a 1% to a 30% response rate, that's the key. That is the key with this, okay? Is going out there and doing that. Now, there's another thing that I want to show you about this, because so many investors are going so wrong with their direct mail. Because here's what they're doing. Here's what they're doing. A real estate investor, they will go out and they will do direct mail, and they will send out a postcard, and then they're done. But you got to think about it like this, okay? You got to think about it like this. Here's where the power's at. Here's where the power at. The power is in the follow-up, okay? The power is in the follow-up as much as it is in to the message, okay? So you cannot go out there and just do one piece of mail and be done. You can't do that. And I would venture out to say, if I was a betting man, I would say 96% of investors, maybe 98% of investors, they send one piece of mail and then they're done. And when I say done, they never reach out to that owner again. They shotgun it. They see what sticks, okay? And what you're doing is it's like you're casting out to catch a fish with the right bait, and you're just wanting to do it one time. How many times, if you guys are fishermen, how many times have you went out there, had the right bait, had the right letter, but you had the right bait, you put the pole into the water, it goes in there, and how many times did you not catch it onto that very first cast? A lot. A lot. But see, it's the same exact approach. So what do? You use the right bait, but what you do is you keep on throwing your bait and everything right into the water. You keep on going out there and doing that. And see, that's what investors do not do. So obviously what that tells you is that that's what you do. Yes, I just said do. So here's the truth. Okay? 48%, and I'm going to spin this, but here's the sales stats, okay? And this is from the National Sales Executive Association, okay? This is the sales stats. Now, I'm going to tweak this to an investor. So I'm just going to change some words with this. But 48% of real estate investors, they never even follow up with a prospect. 25% of real estate investors will make a second follow-up and then they stop. 12% of real estate investors will make 3 contacts, 3 follow-ups, and then they stop. And only 10% of real estate investors make more than 3 follow-ups. At the same time, 2% of deals go under contract on that very first touch. So you've got a 2% chance, okay? On that very first postcard, you have a 2% chance of getting a deal on that very first mailing. Think about it like that. 3% of deals get done on that second follow-up. So on your second postcard, you have a 3% chance of getting that deal under contract. 5% of sales, or 5% of deals go under contract on your third touch. 10% of deals go under contract on your fourth touch. And then it bumps up to 80% of deals go under contract from your 5th to your 12th touch. From your 5th to your 12th touch. And see, that is what investors are missing. They will go out there and they have this approach, okay? They have this approach of going out and doing direct mail, but they will, spend very few time doing the direct mail. And then they will not even follow up with those prospects at all. They won't do it at all. So if you want to crush it, which I'm assuming that you do, and if you want to crush it, let me know that into the comment box because I want to help you crush it. I want to help you dominate 2018. I want to show you how to do things that just nobody else can do. I want to show you how to do that. But the truth of it is that if you want to really crush it, you're going to be very conversational in your message, okay? You're going to be very conversational in your message. You're not going to be corporate. You're not going to be salesy. You're not going to smell like a real estate investor. You're going to act as if you found your dream home. You couldn't find anything online, and you found it. You drove by it. You can't find anything. What do you stick into that mailbox 5 times if they never reach out to you? What do you do with them? What do you say? What does that say? What letter is it? What type is it? Is it lumpy? Is it not? What are you going to do with that? Okay? And you need to know that in order to do that. And then when you get in touch, when they call you, when they say, hey, I got your letter, I'm ready to talk on this. When they say that, then you have to follow up with them a total of 5 to 12 times to get that deal under contract. That's the key. That is the secret to getting deals under contract because most people are only doing one touch. They're just doing one touch and then they're done and then they say direct mail doesn't work. It's the most powerful form of marketing that you can do if you're sending to the right people and if you're sending with the right message. And what I just shared with you will bump up your conversions from 3% up to 30%, which means that you will get a lot more leads into your system. Okay, so we're actually going to be teaching the entire combo seller generator system at our next upcoming workshop in Vegas. The legal wholesaling certification going to be from April 13th through the 15th in Las Vegas, and we're going to be teaching the entire combo seller training course, and we're going to teach you exactly how to get a lot of off-market deals and how to legally wholesale these properties. Okay, so I highly recommend, and right now we have a special going on for about 5 more people, okay? And what we're going to be doing is we're going to pay for your airfare up to $500 and give you the entire course at the actual event and everything. So it's nothing that you guys can go online and buy or anything like that, okay? So change up your direct mail. This will work, it will work very well, and you will be the hero because you will start cashing a lot of checks very, very quickly when you got the right people and you got the right messages behind this. So I want you to comment below. Let me know if you have any questions about direct mail or anything that I covered on today's System Saturday Live. So if you have questions, put those in right now into the chat box, because I want to answer a couple questions about the direct mail on this side. And another thing that I'll cover while, Carol, yes, I know you're going to be in Vegas, which is awesome. One thing that you can do is that when you're working the right leads, right, when you got the right sellers, the truth of it is that you guys can now go out there and do more expensive type of marketing. Okay, so again, our very first touch is always going to be a postcard, but then after that, I might show up with a an elephant into your front yard. Probably not, but I will do some crazy stuff to get that person to respond to me, and it works every single time. So, would a handwritten postcard work? The answer is absolutely. Absolutely. Can we download that mind map? Nope. This is just for members only, Matthew. So this is just for members only. I will be giving all that in Vegas, but that is just for members only. John, do you find any color of paper stock that works best for your postcards? Great question. Great question. And here's what I'm going to tell you is that the truth of it is that no, I don't. But there is a secret to this, Paul. There is a secret. Whatever color that you have your envelope, your cardstock needs to be the exact same color. Now, we have done this to where we'll have purple on the outside and green on the inside, and it does not pull at all. But when we've got green on the outside and green on the inside, it will pull. Or red or purple, it doesn't matter. So the color doesn't necessarily matter. We buy all of ours at Amazon. Is what we do, but the truth of it is that you just got to have those two matching. What is the formula that you gave for tax delinquent, the delinquent amount versus the market value to mail to? But again, so I don't even care the formula. What we do with our direct mail, because we found a better system, is we will take an entire tax delinquent list, and then what we will do is we will upload it into our combo seller generator software, along with other different lists. And then what we'll do, because that software, what it does is it stacks them all on top of each other. You cannot buy, others are selling, a rip-off version of it, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work, period. It doesn't work. But what we'll do is we'll take tax delinquent, stack it on top of vacant, stack it on top of absentee owners, stack it on top of divorce, stack it on top of absentee owners that are doing evictions, and all the different 15 levels of motivation that a seller could be. And then what we do with that is then we mail to those specific people that have multiple levels of motivation. That's what we're talking about. Does this work with pre-foreclosure properties? And the answer is yes, Debbie. This will totally work with pre-foreclosure properties. And I know a lot of people do that system right now, but I'll also challenge that system, okay? And I just wrapped up to where I did the 2018 playbook in Vegas. It was another workshop that we did in Vegas. And I showed stats. I do a lot of research. We spend over $250,000 a year just on research alone. And the truth of it is that with foreclosures down as much as they have been since 2012, I can't wrap my head around why somebody would make that their niche. But would it work on these leads? You bet it will. You bet it will. Great question from Seth. How much should we be getting? See, this is why I do these System Saturday Lives, because I get to answer your questions. On a regular video, I can't do any of that stuff. So how much should we be spending on lists in order to get enough properties with 3 levels of motivation? I spent about $500 on lists and ran them through the generator, but I only had 5 with 3 or more levels. Here's the truth, Seth. How many times did you follow up with those five people that had 3 or more levels of motivation? See, 5 people that have 3 levels of motivation, that's good. See, you just need to make it your life's mission, okay? You need to make it your life's mission and have patience. Now you've got 5 people that have 3 levels of motivation, and you know what levels of motivation each one of those has. So it's very simple. What can you do over the course of the next 60 days to get in front of those people. If you make that your only mission, you will have all 5 of those people call you. And when you follow up with those 5 people, I guarantee you will do at least 1 to 2 of those deals, 1 to 2 deals, depending on where those leads came from and if they had equity or not. But they have to sell. They have to sell with that. So, yes. Can you do this to find multifamily? And the answer is absolutely you can. So yes, you can do that with multifamily and everything. So it's awesome. Okay, cool. So yeah, Seth, just make sure that you are following up like crazy with those people. So and that'll really boost your response rate up, and you will do deals from that stuff. So guys, we have had an awesome System Saturday Live on getting your message right for your direct mail. Talked about the combo seller generator. We talked about the event in Vegas. The workshop that we're doing where we're going to unveil all this stuff, and we gave you the message to give to these people. Go out there and now make it your life's mission to go out there and get more motivated sellers and get those guys to call you and follow up like crazy and do a ton of deals. It is so magical. I'll see you guys on next week's System Saturday. See you guys.